Hey mamas, welcome to today's workout. We've got a 15-minute second trimester strength workout. We're going to be using dumbbells, but a lot of exercises can be modified using no weight at all. I'm using a few different sizes of dumbbells, varying upper and lower body, and we're going to start with some lower body strength circuits for 45 seconds, 15 seconds of rest. You're going to need a step as well for these first exercises. So grab your heavier weights. We're going to begin with one foot on the step for a step up. So we're going to start with the right foot on the step. You're going to step all the way on, both feet come on, and then right foot steps down first and left foot steps down. So we're going to begin and stay leading with that right foot. Exhale as you push your right foot into the bench to bring you up. You want to put a lot of that pressure by leaning slightly forward into that front leg. Make sure the full foot is on the bench or the stairs if you're using stairs, or you could even stack some books. Just make sure it's nice and sturdy. You're exhaling to use your core as you come up, and then just come down slow and control. We want to make sure we keep that weight distributed over the front feet as we step onto that box or that bench. We're also going to get a little cardio with those step ups as well. We're going to keep our weights, and what we're going to do is a staggered squat. So we're going to keep that same foot, the right foot forward, the left foot, the toes are going to line up with your right heel. We're going to keep the weights in each hand, but if you want, you can go without weights. And we're going to squat down and up. So we're squatting down, pushing the knees forward, just slightly past the ankle line, pushing the hips back, exhaling, bracing that core, squeezing glutes to rise. So you can see as I'm going down, I'm leaning forward from the hip a bit, but I'm keeping a nice, strong, straight spine. I'm not rounding my spine, and I'm initiating the move sitting into my hips. So I'm not arching my back to get my butt down. You're not going to be able to go quite as low because you've got that back heel elevated in that staggered position. But what we're gonna do is load both of those legs equally, and it creates a little more stability than a lunge. So we're gonna go back to that step up. This time we're gonna begin with the left leg and stay on the left leg for the full interval. So take a breath. If you wanna go without weights, now's a good time to, if you're feeling like you need to back it off the weights. Exhale, and we exhale on typically the hard part of the exercise. That's gonna help us connect to our core and use that diaphragmatic breath, which is so important because we tend to lose that in pregnancy and go to a more shallow breathing pattern. So if we can really use that nice exhale through pursed lips to help us fire that deep core and pelvic floor. It only gets harder second trimester on to do that, especially as we get more out of breath, as our bodies change. That's all normal and part of it. A couple more here. And rest. You can set the dumbbells down if you want to in between these to kind of shake it out, especially if you're using heavier weights. Your grip might tire before your legs. Okay, so we're gonna take the left foot forward this time, right toes line up with the left heel, and we want that staggered position. Feet are just outside of the hips. We sit back and down and then drive the hips up. Strategy I kind of like is to shift the dumbbell, so I'm kind of propping them on my wrists here. If your grip gets uncomfortable, that helps. So again, chest stays proud, squeeze the shoulder blades, long straight spine as you tip forward. So you're gonna see me hinge forward as I push my hips back, but not rounding the spine, keeping it nice and neutral, initiating that move from the hip, and then squeezing glutes, coming to that nice tall posture where the hips finish right under the shoulder line here. Let's get one more in. Good work. Okay, we're gonna repeat that same interval. So step ups again. This time we're going back to the right side. So now we can really feel that little cardio kick starting to happen. Again, use your judgment if you need to go without the weights, or if you need a longer break. Every day is different in the first trimester and second trimester, especially if you're still struggling a bit with nausea. I still am struggling. A lot of times people say the nausea surpasses, or the nausea goes away in the second trimester, but for me, it takes me still a couple weeks into the second trimester. So comment if you're there with me, I understand. So this might not feel good to get your heart rate up high, and that's okay. do what you can. Again, pregnancy, it feels like forever sometimes, but it really is such a short season, and you're not going to lose progress. It's all about just doing what you can to stay strong and healthy. And sometimes that's resting and backing off what you might normally be able to do, and that's okay. Right foot forward, left foot, toes in line with that right heel. And just remembering, pregnancy is a taxing event, a physically taxing event. It is a workout. So your workouts are going to have to probably accommodate some of the things you're going through. That means you might have to decrease the duration, the intensity. So that's why I kept a lot of these workouts to around 10-15 minutes, because you don't need a lot, and even doing more than that might push you too far into fatigue or nausea or just be too much. So, but if you are craving more, if you're feeling good, you could always double them up and get a little bit of a longer workout. And I wanted to make them doable for those of us who have other children who aren't going to allow us an hour to work out by ourselves. Not that I'd really even want it at this point, to be honest. I love working out, but during pregnancy, it's a different story. It's hard. It's hard to stay motivated. All right, left foot. But usually I find with a workout that's challenging but not too physically taxing or not too long, I actually feel a little bit better in terms of my nausea and fatigue. And just helping balance blood sugar is another thing that's really important. And just prepping the body for the demands of pregnancy and childbirth. Like I said, it's a very physically taxing event. So if we can keep our muscles strong, it's going to help us be resilient and develop that endurance that we need to have a just as easy and comfortable as possible pregnancy. I'm not going to say it's going to make it easy, but more comfortable. All right. Shake it out. We're nearing the end of this circuit. So find that staggered stance. Squeeze those glutes to rise. So pushing through that front heel, pushing through those back toes. Make sure this knee in that right foot does not collapse inward. You want to keep it pushing through the center of your foot. And if that's difficult to do with the dumbbell, you can always drop the dumbbell. The focus is more on the front leg, so you can always drop the right dumbbell, keep it on the left. Let's get one more in. Whew. Legs are feeling good. Okay. So we're going on to a chest press. You might use a heavier set of dumbbells depending on what you can handle for chest. Usually I can go a bit heavier, so I'm going to use my same weight that I just used for my legs. Come on down to your back, and we're only going to be here for a short amount of time. So we're going to bring the elbows wide, squeeze through the armpits to push the weights right back up over the mid-chest line. So elbows wide like goalposts. Push them up. Now, there's a myth that you cannot exercise flat on your back. That's not true for most people. Now, if you find yourself feeling dizzy, nauseous, unwell in this position, please sit up. But for 45 seconds, it is generally safe to be on your back doing movements. It's a short amount of time, so it should not cause any problems of blood flow to the uterus. Sometimes people have heard that, not for this short amount of time. All right, come on up carefully. I would suggest rolling onto your side so you're not straining through your rectus abdominis, that midline linea alba. Okay, we're gonna begin with a side lying shoulder raise. So grab one of your lighter weights here. We're gonna come onto our side, onto our forearm. We're gonna extend the top leg, and the bottom hip can stay on or off the floor. What we're gonna do here is lift the arm up over the shoulder and bring it back down, just hovering above that thigh. You don't want to quite touch it. Lift it all the way up, so knuckles to the ceiling, and then down. And you're pushing out of the bottom forearm as well, so you're not collapsed here. You're engaged through your shoulder, your core, and your hip in that bottom leg. Now, if you want to add a little bit more core and glute work here, lift that bottom hip as you're moving the dumbbell. And we want to move slow and controlled here, just making a nice arcing motion, keeping the arms straight with just a micro bend in that elbow. So you can see I'm not bending it to bring it up. We want to keep it straight, so we keep that pressure where we want it. Okay, keep that lighter weight. We're gonna keep it in the same hand. So pay attention to which side you're working. So we're gonna tip forward from the hip, take a staggered stance. We're gonna bring that weight up for a tricep kickback. So from the hip, extend it back and then bring it back to 90 degrees. So you wanna tip forward from the hip to get you some leverage to get that weight up. So place your elbow on your knee. You might need to accommodate and go a little bit wider if you've got a bigger belly, depending on where you're at. So you can absolutely go wider if you need to here. And then once you get that arm up, you want to keep the pinky up, keep the shoulder down, keep the elbow high. Even a really light weight is going to hit that tricep really nicely. So you don't need a lot of weight here. Let's do one more. All right, we are gonna move now to a bicep curl. Come to your feet and grab a set of weights. You might be able to go a little bit more moderate on the weights here, a little bit heavier than with those shoulder and tricep exercises. So we're gonna do a staggered bicep curl. So what we're gonna do is come halfway up and then all the way up and then back down. So halfway up, all the way up right in front of the collarbones, halfway down 90 degrees, and then unwind those dumbbells, come back down. So mid-range and then full range. So we want about 90 degrees right in that mid-range part of the curl. And we want the elbows under the shoulders. Relaxing those shoulders down away from the ears, keeping the wrists really strong as well, and keeping that trunk movement, the hip movement to a minimum. We want to stay grounded through the legs here. Good work. Okay, we're going back to the floor, back to our chest press. So whatever you want to use, light, moderate, heavy, we're coming down onto our backs. Just carefully roll down as not to strain your abs, and then come back to that position. You could also elevate if you wanted to. You could use a bench or something to elevate your head if you wanted to do that. Or if you've got a bench, you could do an incline chest press, and that would work fine as well. Just keep those dumbbells over the heart rate line. We want something challenging here. Whatever weight you're up for, of course, is going to be great. But if we're really trying to build muscle and maintain muscle during pregnancy, we want weights that are going to be challenging and get us close to failure. That doesn't mean out of breath. That doesn't mean super sweaty. That doesn't mean feeling dizzy and nauseous, but it does mean your muscles feel really pushed, really challenged, especially as we get closer to the end of the set. Okay, grab that light dumbbell now. Come onto the other forearm for that side lying shoulder lift, shoulder raise. So we're going back up and then just hover above the thigh. If you need to, you can touch it down and quickly rest at the bottom. But again, we're lifting through that bottom waistline, trying to keep the arm as straight as possible. And that's gonna require us probably to slow down, and that's a good thing. And I'm only using 5 pounds, so you don't need a lot of weight for this. You might be able to do slightly heavier depending on your strength, but even a small little 1 pound weight even, you will still feel this. Okay, let's get a little more core activation for the last couple. Really good to train those obliques and deep core muscles in side plank. Really good, and it's not going to strain that linea alba. Okay, keeping that lighter weight, we're going to go to our tricep kickback on the other side. So find that split staggered position, elbow on the knee, bring the weight up to the hip, and then elbow up, shoulder down, lead with that pinky finger. Staying in the work. This is when I feel like the interval feels really long because triceps are a small muscle. It's not hard to feel the burn in this one. It doesn't take much. Hang in there, try to keep that dumbbell at 90 degrees. When you return, good work. Okay, moving to our last exercise, staggered curls. Come on up to standing. Relax the shoulders back and down, brace the core, soften the knees, and let's do it. We need those strong biceps. My infant car seat is on the heavier side. Put a baby in there and your biceps are gonna be put to the test, especially as the baby grows. So we need those biceps to be strong. We're almost there. Like I said, if you want to keep going, if you're feeling good, you could add another set, add another round of each exercise. And that's it, our second trimester strength workout. I hope you're enjoying going through your pregnancy. If you're just starting, I'm in my second trimester also, and so I'm going to be taking you along each trimester of my pregnancy, giving you plenty of workouts, a variety of different workouts you can do, whether you're nauseous, you've got pelvic pain, you've got core dysfunction, workouts that are short, simple, effective, and are going to be using minimal equipment and something you could easily do at home. If you're looking for guided schedules, I have my YouTube guides that I've linked in the description as well that take you through my YouTube videos in a structured schedule, telling you which workouts to do on which days, and so you can get strong progressively over a 12-week period of time. So I've got one for postpartum, which is also great for pregnancy, and then I've got one for if you're a C-section mom, either prepping for a C-section or recovering from one. But as always, if you have any questions, let me know in the comments. I'm here with you, and let's get strong in our second trimester together. I'll see you back here for our next workout.